Hey everyone, this is Mike, and welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Isaac, and we're here to talk about some stuff regarding the Sony PlayStation and the whole nonsense that's been going on regarding PlayStation and quote unquote DRM update. Previously, people noticed that there was an update to the policy for digital games where they basically said that you have to be have your system online, have to do an online check every 30 days. Otherwise, some of your digital games might be locked out. So if you're completely offline, if you're not online within 30 days, you can be completely locked out from your game, even if it's like a supposedly an offline game. And obviously that pissed off a lot of people, saying that like the most anti-consumer thing ever. Since then, they said that they clarified, saying that digitally purchased games will be accessible long term. Again,
What
after
the,
only one like check.
yeah, what does that even mean
Yeah,
anymore
I
at
would,
this point?
and then no one exactly knows what it means. But again, we have a like an up like a little like article here from GameFile saying that like Sony clarifies the recent PlayStation DRM update. PlayStation fans, again, game preservationists, have been alarmed since the whole 30-day timer thing was attached to both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games. Again, as we mentioned, those games might be unplayable if you're offline for longer than a month. But a rep from Sony has told GameFile that this new system will require only a single online check before it functions as a perpetual license for digitally purchased games. This is consistent with the newer theory that emerged gamers are testing the 30-day timer with over 2 days. Players can continue to access to play their games purchased as usual. The one-time online check is required after purchase. The game line with no further check-ins needed. That's basically the long and short of it. Again, a lot of people have already tested this to confirm that yes, there is like an online check if you have your system offline. You try to play a game, they say the license is disabled. You have to get online to order to play this game again. And obviously, a lot of people are very skeptical that what the representative is saying is gonna stick. A lot of people are suggesting that this is basically what all digital games for the service is going to be moving forward, and obviously, a lot of people are not too happy with it because it's probably the most anti-consumer thing that Sony has ever done in the longest time, and they're already fairly anti-consumer when it comes to a lot of like to their services. And I mean, there really isn't much I can say at the moment about this, but I'm just kind of curious what you think about it. Sorry.
So I also heard, and again, I don't. This is not even mentioned on this website. I think I was reading another website article about this and how they were saying that they're using the DRM as a 14-day I guess period cycle in
Yeah.
case if you want to be able to return the game without fraud and get
Mm-hmm.
in a case to kind of protect it. But again, knowing how Sony has been operating these last couple of months, in between of raising the price back on the PS5 to what another $100,
Mm-hmm.
um, and in terms of losing exclusives and backing away from putting the games on PC, it just seems like another skeptical move coming from a company that has done pretty much all of that in the name of profits. So I don't know. It just seems like at the end of the day, it seems like again, it's just another wonderful reminder that you don't own anything in
Yep.
terms of of any game right now in the world. And I know people want to kind of use Steam as a great example, but even again,
That
Steam,
is
Steam has, you know,
the
they
same similar
said
problem
has the
with
same,
this.
yeah, it has similar rules and regulations on how their games are being used. So It just seems like everything's just tough and boring to watch right now at the moment. It's
I
just kind
mean,
of depressing,
yeah, it is.
really, at the end of the day, in terms of how games are being handled.
It's kind of funny though because like recently in a few days ago, I believe, or a week ago, the whole stop killing games movement in the UK picked up steam. I know that the one guy representing the whole stop
Yes.
killing games
Hmm.
showed up in court to like plead his case that these digital storefronts need to do something in order to preserve games from being, especially these online
Hmm.
enabled games, from being shut down. And uh, ironically, when it comes to like consumer protections, the UK seems to be very much on top of that, like especially compared to America, which is like embarrassing for us that like when it comes to America being the biggest consumer market in the world and we don't have consumer protections like the UK does. It's truly sad and I really wish something like the stop killing games movement would come to America as well. But so again, that's just one thing that UK has over America, and I really wish
Well,
we had that too.
it seems like we don't care enough.
Yeah, it really
That's the problem.
does.
What it really comes down to, it doesn't seem like we honestly care enough to make a stink about it.
Hmm.
Hopefully, I know we're small and we're talking about it right now, but you got to hope that people would sit down and kind of work together to make a big deal about this. Because, like you said, a lot of these games, shockingly, would have thought by moving these games onto the digital space would be a way to preserve a lot of these games, and that doesn't seem to be the case because at the end of the day, these games are stored on servers, and if once these servers get old or they're not
There's just like not enough space to like hold
correct,
all this data. Yeah, like
they
eventually,
get eventually rid of the server, and then there goes a lot of your games. Great example, Nintendo did this with their eShop and basically wiped every millions and millions of accounts because
just
of service. Sorry,
yeah,
without because they wanted to clear their servers for their next console.
the WiiWare. Yeah, like hundreds of thousands of WiiWare games are just
Gone,
got deleted. I mean, a good chunk of them got preserved, fortunately,
but not all of them.
but not all of them.
So
It's
you're
just
missing a good chunk of your library at the end of the day. With games like that. So, um, yeah, no, it's just yeah, it stinks right now because it just seems like every game that comes out. It's amazing now that we're getting to that age of where it's like back in my day when we used to be kids, where you bought a full game and you
hmm
actually bought a full completed game for what
game.
it is, and if you wanted to be able to enjoy that game, or they would introduce an expansion pack, which you would be able to continue the adventure for maybe just $20 more if you enjoyed that game. Now it seems like games are getting much expensive. They're hitting like the 60. They're now almost 80 to 90 bucks a game, where they're piecemealing every little feature right now to a game. And now, even if you and the worst thing too is, even if you do buy a physical copy, you still need some kind of online connection to be able to even play your physical copies now.
Yep,
Again, going back to what Nintendo
the key
is did with
cards.
the key cards.
Yeah.
So it kind of defeats the whole purpose of even buying physical copies right now. You know?
I mean, what can I really say? This is kind of why retro gaming is kind of booming at the moment. A lot of people just want to play a fully finished game without all the nonsense, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
retro gaming is picking up slack. You got like again like refresh consoles, like just recently they just announced a refresh of the whole Neo Geo console, and it
I
can
did see that.
actually play old Neo Geo games. It's not like a replica system where it's like it's preloaded with a bunch of games. You could actually play Neo Geo cartridges like that, and
And
And it's
what's
just
cool
like
about those consoles too that they do now support 4K and all these other
all
modern
like HDMI and all the modern amenities. You don't have to
yeah
find those like
ports.
component cables and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
like it's great, and it's just like it's really popular. Obviously, you have like that Nintendo refresh console where you can also play
N64 games.
N64
I did see
games
that.
in like
Yeah,
with like with HDMI and stuff like that. And, I don't think I don't think these consoles have like upscaling because that's gonna distort the image and it's just gonna look ugly.
hmm
But they do have like filters like 4x3 and stuff like that. It has stuff that help you bridge the gap between old and new,
yeah.
and it's awesome. And again, you just have a game that you just put in the cartridge, you put in the CD, and you just play it. No nonsense,
You're
no
able to
nothing.
complete to beginning to end, and you can
Yeah,
honestly
exactly.
call it
It's
a
just
day.
it sucks that all these online services are at the whims of the companies that hold all the data, and it sucks. And I know, again, as you mentioned, Steam has its own
The
like
return policy. So is that like what, a 30-day or no? You have to play or it's like a 72-hour.
what for Steam.
Yeah, what's
Steam has
30-day policy?
okay by default their return policy is 30 days if you haven't played the touch the game,
Okay,
if you haven't loaded the game, 2 hours if you have played the game and you don't like it for whatever reason.
okay.
But however, they make exceptions for returns where you can just get a refund even if you're past the 2 hour limit. Whether it's like mass refunds, people requesting refunds like hey, this game sucks. A lot of people are refunding it en masse. They're most likely gonna give you a refund if the game is like so bad or there's like a lot of people don't like the game, like it has some bugs and issues, or the game can't load. A lot of people
hmm
can't play the game. They will still grant you a refund.
Okay.
So they're very generous when it comes to their refund policy and stuff like that. And again, Steam is the exception. Like again, we all love Steam because of even though their online service is like iffy and stuff like that. Technically, for a lot of the games, the Steam service is the DRM, but you can still play a lot of those games online without connecting to Steam. Still,
hmm
so that's still a benefit. Again, some other particular games you still need Steam to launch, others you don't. So it's a case by case basis,
See,
really.
especially games where I hate where you download on Steam, but then it downloads another
Another
client launcher.
another launcher, yeah,
Yeah,
like
that.
games like Warframe or certain EA games. Ironically, Marvel Rivals technically has another launcher, but it doesn't download it anything. It's just like you have to start the game twice, so it's a little bit annoying. But it's again, I really wish games wouldn't do that, but it is what it is. But again, back on the main topic when it comes to like again Sony and this whole DRM stuff, it really sucks that Sony took this approach. Even if they have a reason for it, it's still very anti-consumer
Yeah,
to be doing this
it
kind of
feels
online
very
check.
slimy against the consumer at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
for this to happen right now.
Yeah.
And it just makes you less trustful on the Sony brand with everything that's kind of happened under the Sony's watch. It's just yeah, it just feels very slimy.
Yeah, and ironically, even mentioned in this article that Xbox actually tried to do
Yes, it did.
this same thing back in May 2013 with, and it was
Xbox
a
One.
yeah with Xbox One, and it was a 1 day check-in.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad that would have been. They quickly abandoned that shit. A 1 day login. You have to check in every day just to play your games.
Yeah, which is
That's
terrible. But it
awful.
also kind of goes to show you how much that like it was tested, and of course everybody came together, rightfully so, took to up arms. They were upset with it, so
Hmm.
hence they pulled out. Again, it seems like there isn't enough pressure on these
Yeah.
companies because they always tend to come back to visit these bad ideas
Mm-hmm.
when nobody's looking. You notice?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Hence why Sony was able to slip this in an update.
Me personally, I'm kind of already done with like PlayStation. Only PlayStation. The thing about PlayStation I bought in recent years is their controllers, the PlayStation 5 controllers, because it's like I do like it's very comfortable and stuff like that. But other than that, I have almost like zero interest in buying a PlayStation 5, especially considering again with this policy and the simple fact that there's like a voice recording policy where the system at most of the time is actually recording your voice because the PlayStation 5 controller actually has a
A
built-in
microphone, yeah.
microphone in it.
Yeah.
So it's basically recording you at all times. I'm like, no, fuck that. Like it's already I have enough of my technology snooping on me already. I don't want to add PlayStation into the mix. So it's bad. Again, I'm trying to do my best to decouple from a lot of this technology to make sure it's like anti spyware, but it sucks that a lot of our technology is
Yeah, but
spying
that's
on me.
so difficult at this point. Everything. Your phone is basically on 24/7. Your computer is on. Your camera is looking into
Well,
you. It's
I try to pull my obviously
yeah,
pull
of
the
course
camera off,
you can turn the camera off. You just unplug it,
just
But
unplug it, and then the mic, and then with the Android phone, I try to do as much decoupling like Google the to all the take all the off the checks. And I'm considering of trying to like install like an alternate version of Android that's basically de-Googled. I'm considering that to get
yeah,
rid of it, but again, it's difficult, and you're gonna lose out a lot of like important
yeah.
functions.
At some point, there's only so much you can do. I think the only way you could decouple is just don't be on the internet. Just
I
abandon the
mean,
internet, become a nomad,
no, I think that's
join the
obviously that's
forest.
impossible. You can't just like
You know, no,
become a.
people do it all the time.
I mean, I
People
know,
get
I know you
detached
can.
from nature. You could totally do
I know
it.
I can't. I know you can, but can we on a personal? Like no, like I obviously can't. You can do a lot to like obviously limit the amount of data that goes out. Like there's
No, that's
you can
true.
do VPNs. You
Yeah.
can obviously do alternative
Yeah, but I
like
always hate that. I always wondered with VPNs too,
and
because you got to
even
pay for a service right
yeah,
now. And
obviously
how how trustful are those
and
VPNs?
obviously you're right. Like also VPNs are also sketchy as well because certain VPNs are also still giving data away
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But again, it's who do you trust at that point when it comes to these services
Honestly,
and
none of them. I don't trust any of
and,
them at this
and
point. Like,
obviously
you know,
Windows itself is also spying on it, and I've also considered switching to Linux.
Windows, Facebook, Apple, they're all in cahoots. Once you click the OK after you don't
Yeah,
read the hundreds of
they're all harvesting your data, but
yeah,
at the same time, you can yeah, if some data has to go out, okay, but you can always choose how much goes out. You
that
can
is
always
true.
put fake information and stuff like that. It's like if you truly want to like stay like you just kind of just do that.
I
But
guess.
again, going off topic about like like privacy and stuff like that. Again, sucks that Sony is doing
Ownership. Yeah.
this stuff. It sucks that like digital is becoming more and more anti-consumer, despite even certain companies that we enjoy like Steam still having like a little bit of that stank and whatnot. But it really sucks that Sony is doing this. I really hope that they reconsider this because like this is really going to bite them
Alienate
in the
it's
long
gonna
run.
alienate a lot of their fans right now. And this is a company that's right now complaining about a lot of stuff right now. Again,
Hmm.
going back to the whole PC situation right now and how
They.
they're gonna pull their games away from PC
Hmm.
because they're saying that nobody's buying your games. In reality, you guys are lazy and not optimizing them to be on PC correctly in the first place. That's why
Yeah,
now people are
exactly.
buying your games at the moment. So you're
Yep.
doing a lot of these anti-consumer moves right now, and then this is just one thing you're adding right now to piss people off.
Yep. Basically, very much so. But well, I mean, what do you think about the Sony DRM for PlayStation 4 or 5? Are you okay with it? Are you not okay with it? Or do you just not own a PlayStation console to begin with? Let us know if you like what we do here. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm Mike with Isaac, and we are saying peace.